Have you ever wondered what makes you instantly attractive to women? Have you ever wondered how to build sexual tension around women the right way without appearing creepy? Then watch this video till the very end, because in this video I'm going to break down everything you need to know to make it sexual. So if you've been on dates where things didn't go as planned, if you've been on a date where you couldn't even touch her hand, you were thinking too much about this, watch this video till the very end, because that is never going to happen with you again. Now, most men, when it comes to women, they play to not lose than to win. Let me explain. Now, most men, when they're dating a girl or they start seeing a girl, initially, they're playing to not lose. They're playing to be a nice guy, a good guy in her books, rather than playing to win. Now, I want to ask a question for you. Now, if there's Chelsea and there's Real Madrid, both these teams are playing, and Real Madrid is just playing defense. They're not even trying for the goal. They're just playing defense, and they're just playing to not lose. In that match, Chelsea is going to score some goals because, of course, they're trying to score some goals, while Real Madrid is just going to be in the defending position. So maybe they're not able to score a goal, but that's a maybe because of the defense. But if the defense breaks even once, they're going to score the goal and they're going to win. So what that means is, if you play too safe, if you play to not lose than to win, then you're not even playing in the game. You're not even trying. You never know what her response is going to be unless you ask her something. Every person has multiple personalities. Now, you might have a different personality when you're out with the girl you're dating. You might have a different personality when you're with your parents. You might be a different person when you're talking to your friends, and that's all right. Same thing goes for women. So a woman might have multiple personalities. A personality she might have to a guy who's approaching her in a club, she might act like a bitch. But she's not gonna be that when she's sitting with her parents, or she's gonna be her goofy self. So if you can get that goofy self out of her, she's gonna be much more open in being physical with you and also having an intimate relationship with you. So a smooth, seductive, masculine frame state means that she's comfortable with you and you're building the right amount of sexual tension. You're leading and directing her to intimacy. Now, you cannot expect a woman to lead and direct you to intimacy. You as a man have to take the responsibility off her shoulders to take it to an intimate direction. But most men are playing it safe because they want to mask their attraction. They don't want the girl to know that they're attracted to them. And why is that? That is because of uncertainty. You might be uncertain how the woman might perceive your attraction. Is she gonna accept it? Is she gonna reject it? And if she rejects it, what does it say about myself? So do not attach anything to your personal self. And also, if you're not talking about your attraction, you're probably wasting time. Because if you don't tell the girl that you're attracted to her, and if she doesn't accept you or reject you, you're just gonna land up in the friend zone. And that's exactly what happens with a lot of guys. Because there's a sweet time when you can tell her that you're attracted to her. If you're hanging out with her for a month, 2 months, 3 months, and then you tell her that, hey, listen, I'm attracted to you, then what is she gonna feel is, damn, this guy just wanted to be my friend just because he wanted to get in my pants. So that's going to be extremely manipulative. Being nice, playing it too safe, all of these things are extremely manipulative when it comes to attraction. And you need to understand that. A smooth, seductive, masculine frame has to be developed with practice. I want you to understand this because this is something you're going to get better at with repetition. So the more women you meet, the more comfortable you get making things sexual, and the more easier it's going to get for you. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to make it sexual towards the end of the video, so stick till the end. But for now, your verbal and non-verbal communication plays a huge role when it comes to being sexual around women and also building instant attraction. Because that is what women actually focus on when you're trying to talk to her, when you're trying to make things sexual. It's your verbal and your non-verbal communication. Now, in your verbal communication, it's the way you're talking, what you're talking about, your tonality. In your non-verbal communication, it's going to be your body language, your expressions, how you're feeling inside, and what you're feeling and how is she feeling because of what you're making her feel. And for the non-verbal communication, it's how you're feeling inside, how your body language is, and how your smile is, how your expression is, how your non-verbal communication in terms of your eye contact is. Now, I'm going to tell you a step-by-step ladder, so do not worry about that. But I just want you to understand that non-verbal and verbal communication is the king when it comes to building sexual tension and being sexual around women. Now, when you're using your non-verbal and verbal communication and when you're trying to hit on that girl and when you're trying to get your groove on, a woman will show you signs if she's attracted to you or not. You just have to be aware. Now, this is a complete topic for another video, and I'll make sure to drop a video on this. Comment down, let me know how you find these videos because these are in-depth breakdowns that we're just trying out. And if you want a video on this, I'll definitely create that. All you need to do is put that in the comment section below. So a woman will show you signs if she's attracted to you. You just have to be aware. Now, these signs are body language signs which she cannot consciously control. For example, I'm going to just give you a couple of examples on the top of my head. For example, she's playing with her hair, she's leaning in, her feet are facing towards you, her voice is going up at the end, so she's seeking your reaction. Now, all of these signs are going to tell you whether the woman is attracted to you or not. If she's not attracted to you, she's probably leaning back, she's probably checking her time, her feet are facing towards the door, she probably wants to leave. Now, if all of that is happening, that means that she's not that comfortable. Now, I've also read 32 body language books. I've compiled it into a document, and that's all you need to know if you actually want to learn about attraction and body language. And I'll add that in the pinned comment section below. All you need to do is click that pinned comment, download that guide. So let's talk about what you might require if you want to make things sexual with a woman without being creepy, without being labeled as a creep. Now, the first thing you need to do is you need to break the barrier of touch. Most men fail over here. They're not able to break the barrier of touch, and the sooner you can break the barrier of touch, the better it is, because it sets a premise that you are a guy who's generally that touchy in life. So what I mean is, for example, if you're going out on a date today, you're going out on the date and you're like, hey, it's nice to meet you, versus, hey, long time no see, a hug. And when you give a girl a hug, what is going to happen is automatically whatever moves you make on the date is going to be a lot more comfortable for her because you've broken that barrier of touch. But if you're awkward, if you're not sure about the hug, and if you're going in a shivering way, she's going to reject that because she's going to be like, this guy's not sure about it, why is he even doing it? Now, you might shake her hand and you might be like, okay, I'm going to go on the date, I'm going to be a gentleman, I'm going to shake her hand, open the doors for her, and you sit on a restaurant, and then you fail to escalate, you fail to touch her the right way and at that point in time, you're thinking in your head, is it okay for me to touch her? And the woman is also thinking the same thing. Is he going to touch me, or is he going to act so professional? Now understand, if she's going out on a date with you, it's a date. That means that she's romantically inclined towards you. And she doesn't have to be there. She can be anywhere in the world. She can be in a business meeting. She can do anything else. But this is a date, so you have to make it sexual. If you do not make it sexual, I've had clients who have gone out on the first date, they were not able to make it sexual. But the girl was good enough to give them a second chance. They go on the second date, they were not able to make it sexual. But the girl after that was like, hey, I don't feel the right vibe. I think we can be friends, but I need some time to think about it. Now that happens, if that has happened with you, where the girl has texted you after the date, hey, I don't know if it's working out, I didn't feel the vibe, that means that you did not make it sexual. Because the girl is expecting that. Even if it's as little as holding her hands, you still got to do it. Because if she wants to see you as a long-term or even a short-term potential partner, and you don't make a move, she's not going to be able to see you as that. She's not going to think about you later after the date. Now, women love sex equally, if not more than men. Now, most men think that, oh, if I talk about sex, it's going to be such a taboo, she's going to judge me so bad, she's going to think that I'm a horny motherfucker. But you need to realize that women love sex equally, if not more than men. You see all these porn videos, and who's the one in these videos shouting at the top of their lungs? It's the woman. Who's the one who's screaming and having multiple orgasms? It's the woman. So, women love sex equally, if not more than men. Get it in your head so that you don't have these limiting beliefs. Now, I remember the first time I came to India, after my education, I was like, Indian girls are too conservative. No one wants to hook up on the first night. So probably what I was doing in Singapore is not going to work here. Now, the first night I went to a club, I met this girl and she's like, hey, do you mind dropping me home? And being the gentleman I am, I'm like, cool, yeah, why not? Sit in the car. Now we go to her place and she's like, hey, why don't you come up for coffee? Now, because I think that Indian girls are so conservative, no one's going to sleep with me on the first date, I'm literally checking my time. I'm like, okay, it's 3 a.m. So if I have coffee, I might not be able to sleep till 5. This means that I have work at 9, which means I'll have 4 hours of sleep, which means no fucking coffee. No coffee. And at that moment, I told her, hey, listen, I gotta go. I'm not coming up for coffee. I'm sorry about this. I leave and, I start casually dating this girl and I ask her, hey, if I would have come up that day, would you have slept with me? And she's like, of course. You think I was calling you up for coffee at 3 a.m.? And I'm like, fuck, man, I can be so dumb. So that you don't repeat this mistake, I want you to remember, women love sex equally, if not more than men. Practice eye contact and deep voice tonality to build sexual tension. Now, the best way of building sexual tension is quite simple. All you need to do is look deep into her eyes. And when I'm looking at her eyes, I'm looking at her soul. That's what I feel. Look deep into her eyes. Lower your voice. Have a deeper voice tonality. Play with your facial expressions a little bit. And then you can make things sexual. I'm going to break it down for you, how you can make things sexual very easily. Now, a lot of guys, what they do is they're not able to bear the sexual tension because it gets uncomfortable. It is a little awkward, it is a little uncomfortable, but you have to see if the woman is breaking the sexual tension or not. If she's not breaking the sexual tension and if she's also holding the sexual tension, that means that she's interested, and that also means that now you should practice the art of being hot and cold to keep her hooked. Now, the art of hot and cold is, either you call it the art of push and pull or being hot and cold, whatever you want to call it. It's basic flirting 101. Now, what you do is, you're looking deep into her eyes, you're giving her a compliment, but you're also stripping her of validation. For example, "You're so beautiful, I'm lost in your eyes." I'm looking at the girl's edge and I'm like, "Well, what's your age? Are you really 28? You don't have to lie to me." Now, with that, it builds extreme sexual tension and it's extremely polarizing for the woman. And what it does is it gives her a certain boost of emotions. Now, understand, for women, attraction is more emotional. So, the more boost you can give them, the better it is. Rather than feeling nothing, if they're feeling something, even if it's a little negative emotion, they're going to feel excited. They're going to be thrilled to be with you. Now, if you give them a wide variety of emotions, like a roller coaster of emotions, she's going to get hooked to you. And that's what you want at this stage. Now, once you have the woman hooked, you can go in for the physical touch. But before you go in for the physical touch, the most important thing is always be mindful of her emotions and consent. Always be aware where she's at emotionally. Now, let me tell you in terms of an approach. Now, if you approach a girl in a daytime scenario and she's sitting on the corner and she's like a little sad and you go like, "Hey, how's it going? Hey, nice to meet you." She's not going to be able to match with your emotional energy, and because of that, you'll get rejected. So if a girl is sitting sad and, I can see that she's not having the best day, I would rather go like this: "Hey, is everything all right? I understand, yeah, it's not the best day, but my name is Arnav. What's your name?" I'm going to match with her emotional energy. Now, when it comes to the touch, what I mean is you need to be aware what the woman is going through emotionally, because that is going to give you a better idea whether you should go ahead with your touch or not. Now, I'm going to give you my escalation ladder, and this escalation ladder is something that my clients use to get mind-blowing results back to back on dates, and I'm going to give it to you for completely free. So keep your mind aware, and if you want, this is the part where you take notes. So let's talk about how we can make things sexual the right way. Now, there's a right way and there's a wrong way, and I learned it the hard way. And I've been to numerous dates where I actually practiced all these things, and I've been rejected numerous times. It was embarrassing, but things you got to do for research. Now, this is the right way of making things sexual with a woman, and this is the only way you should make things sexual with a woman. Any other way, I would recommend not doing it, because if you do it in the wrong way, you're going to get rejected, and if you get rejected, you're probably not going to see her again. So, first thing is, break the barrier of touch as soon as you can. As soon as you go out on the date, maybe it's a date, maybe it's a girl you're approaching, break the barrier of touch. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean a hug. What it can be as small as a high five. So if I'm talking to a girl in a daytime location, I'd be like, "Wow, you're a cool person, high five." Now, what that does is it shows the girl that this guy is not afraid to touch. This guy is not going to make any jittery movements. He's a cool guy, he's a sex-worthy guy, and he's okay, and he's, touchy in general. Now, once that is established, that also breaks the barrier for her, that she does not have any more fear, and that also breaks the barrier for you. Now, the next thing is, what I like to call it is look at her soul. Now, this step, you literally need to look at her eyes, and in my mind, when I'm looking at her eyes, I'm literally thinking that I'm staring at her soul. Now, some women find this eye contact extremely intense.
Seriously?
So much eye contact, how come? If you are telling him, I can't feel so much eye contact.
I understand. Are you sure? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm kind of shy.
But the point is not to tone it down then and there, because if you do it then and there, then the woman is going to feel that you're fake. So have deep eye contact. If the girl says like it's too much, it's all right. Too much is better than too less. If you're a guy who's just flickering here and there, always looking at the environment, the girl is not going to be engaged with you. If you want the girl to be super engaged with you, you need to be super engaged with her. Now, what I feel when I'm looking at a girl is like everything else disappears. It's just me and her, and we're sharing this moment, and I'm staring deep into her soul. So if any girl gets scared like, "Oh, too much eye contact," I'm like, "Hey, listen, I'm staring at your soul, sweetheart." Now, this makes it more flirty, this makes a little bit more banter, and this gives her a jolt of emotions. The third step is match her emotional state and then pump yours. Now, matching her emotional state is all good, but a girl is not going to hook up with you, or a girl is not going to be sexual with you unless and until you pump her emotional state as well. If the girl's emotional state is pumped up, it's all right. Maybe you go to a club and people are dancing, people are pumped up. At that time, you can match her energy level by pumping your own emotional state as well. But if you meet a girl in the daytime, maybe a coffee shop or something, maybe you're going out on a date for lunch, you have to pump her emotional state up. Because if you do not pump her emotional state up, she will not come in that goofy state of mind which we were talking about earlier. To get her into that goofy state of mind, you need to pump up your own emotional state, and there's a law of state transference which basically states that if I'm feeling positive and uplifted while talking to you, you're going to feel uplifting emotions as well. Now, the same thing happens over here. I match her emotional energy, I pump up my own emotional energy, so her emotional energy gets pumped up. After this, you have to use your deep voice tonality and long pauses to build sexual tension. So it can be something like, so, what were you saying? Oh, you like reading, is it? That's great. I love you already. I mean, such a knowledgeable trait. You're cute. Now, at this point, what I'm trying to do is I'm deepening my voice. I'm taking a lot of pauses. Now, because of those pauses, it's building a lot of sexual tension. I'm using my facial expressions as well to have that challenging smirk, that challenging vibe. And I'm talking extremely slow. And that builds a lot of sexual tension. Now, there's a weapon that I like to use in my own approaches, which is sort of gonna build instant sexual tension. And this is generally when a woman is talking a lot and she's sharing a lot of things and she's not giving me the space to build that sexual tension. Now, what I would do is I would hold my finger on her lips and I'd be like, shh. That's pretty much all I do. It builds ultimate amounts of sexual tension. Not for beginners. If you're a guy who's been doing approaches, you can try this, but definitely not for beginners because you don't know how to get away with it. So try this at your own risk. Now, once you have built the sexual tension, the next step, what you need to do is you need to observe her reaction to the sexual tension. Is she trying to break that sexual tension, or is she keeping that sexual tension maintained? Is she playing with you as well, or is she trying to just evade that sexual tension? If she's trying to evade that sexual tension, that means you need to go back to the step one. You need to make her more comfortable. You need to build a little bit more relatability. You need to talk to her more. She's just not there yet. Now, if she's giving you good reactions and if she's reacting well to your sexual tension, then what you need to do is you need to add physical touch. And this physical touch is like a soft touch. Now, a soft touch is there's some certain spots, for women that you can touch and she will not feel that, you're being a creep or you're being a guy who's being overly touchy. For example, holding a woman by probably the back of her arm, right? Like this, not like on the waist. Or maybe, giving her a high five or, pulling her cheeks a little bit. Now, all of that comes under soft physical touch. Now, once you do the soft physical touch, you again have to observe how she's responding to your physical touch. For example, if I'm, holding her cheek and I'm trying to hold her cheek and she's like going back, I know that she doesn't like it. That means I need to tone it down. If I hold her hand, and this cheek thing, I think not many girls like because of the makeup and stuff. So you can, try the hand thing because that works like a charm. Women are not going to be offended. Now, for example, for guys, I think it's like a shoulder. Like, when a bro holds your shoulder, it's not like, you don't feel sexually threatened. Same for women is like when you hold the hand, she's not going to feel sexually threatened. So you do all of this, you hold her hands, you see what's the reactions, and if she's reacting well. Another thing I do generally on my dates is I'll hold her hand and I'll press it a little tightly. And then I'll see if she's pressing it back. If she's not pressing it back, and if she's trying to remove her hand, that means that she's not there yet. Now, if I'm pressing her hand and she's pressing my hand back, that's a positive reaction to whatever I'm doing. That means I can do more. The next thing, look out for any hesitation. If there's any hesitation, do not move forward at any cost because just don't. Just don't move forward. If you even sense any hesitation, then you got to use the push and pull to make it floaty. The push and pull, the hot and cold, whatever you want to call it. It's, mostly I play with the words as well as my expressions. So for this, if you want to practice your expressions, I would strongly suggest practice multiple expressions in front of the mirror. And this makes you more engaging. For example, if I'm talking to a girl and I'm like, that was disgusting. Or if I tell her, hey, that was extremely disgusting. Extremely disgusting. Now that shows more emotion behind the voice. Once you actually have more emotion behind the voice, you sound a lot more passionate about whatever you're saying. And if you're passionate about whatever you're saying, people start taking you seriously. So learn this, how to do the push and pull. And I think I'm going to create a video on this as well. If you guys comment down below, let me know if you want a video on this. We'll see what can be done. Now, the next thing is adding physical touch. And this is the hard touch I'm talking about. The hard touch is when you're going in for the kiss, when you're going in for the kiss on the cheek, or maybe, when you're holding her waist. Now, these are the kind of touches that the girl needs to be comfortable with for her to be okay with. Now, if you've done all the above things, then you might be at a position where you can judge whether the physical touch, the hard touch is possible or not. Now, most guys, what they do wrong is when they're trying to touch a girl, they just go for the hard touch. They don't see all these minute things. They just go in for the kiss directly and the girl rejects them. That was my problem as well. Now, if the girl rejects you, then there's no recovery from that. You can probably try to evade it a little bit, but she's gonna always feel that this guy tried on me without even my consent or anything. So what you need to do is you need to do all these steps, and only then, once she's complying to you, once she's giving you positive responses, only then you add the physical touch, which is hard. Now, generally how I do it is if I'm on a date, I would always try to get close to her ear and say something. When I'm trying to say something close to her ear, I would see if she's flinching, if she's going back, that means that she's not ready yet. But if she's not flinching, that means that she's there. And I'd give her a small, kiss on the cheek probably initially. And then I'll see how she responds to that. Now, if she's responding in a positive manner, then I can go in for the hard escalation, maybe while dropping her, go in for the kiss, or maybe take her home as well. Now, all of that depends on how she's responding to my soft escalation as well as how she's responding to my flirting skills. Now, one thing I want to tell you guys, all of this is going to help you how to become sexual around women, and it's going to help you build instant attraction as well. There have been times I've been to a club, just met the girl. Second thing we know is we're making out. It's instant attraction. And if you can become the naughty guy, if you can be the guy who can carry this naughtiness and be the naughty guy with every girl, then you'll realize one thing. It's all about skill. It's all about practice. But more than that, what it boils down to is it will only work if you believe in yourself. It's like Neo jumping from that building, right? Unless and until he believed that he can do it, it didn't work. And the reason why you need to believe in yourself is if you have jittery hand movements, if you're trying to hug the girl like, hey, nice to meet you, what is the girl going to feel? The girl is going to feel that this guy is not congruent to what he's feeling. His thoughts, his words, and his actions are not aligned. And because they're not aligned, he's trying to do something weird. I don't know why he's trying to hug me if he doesn't want to. And why is he being so forceful? So if a girl thinks that, then that's a big negative, and you don't want any girl to think that. Now, if you have ever messed up making it sexual with a woman and you never want to mess up again, I would strongly recommend you schedule a call with my team. Let's see if you're a right fit to work together, and let's change your dating life.